Yo ho everyone, how are you? Welcome to the Sunday Shogi, where you look deep inside your soul. And here is your host, Shogi Harbour, with black screen, perfect. And right now you can send a link to your Kifu. Kifu meaning Shogi game, which we're gonna analyze on stream. Hope you guys having a great weekend so far. We're gonna roast you so hard that you're gonna forget about all your next week's worries. Hello. SCF commentary, Arakiel, Jim, Eldron, Yellow, Ausjam, Lily, Time Zombie, The Wardo. Welcome, guys, and hey, Marksha. So if you guys have any Kifu, just send the link in the chat. I'm fine, thank you. Took a nice bath today. I rarely take bath, but when I do, I always enjoy it. Also went for a walk. Sunday walk is a thing. Love Sunday walks. Yeah, and I'm really happy because we're gonna do some shogi today. There's a piece of hair in front of my eyes and it's disturbing me so bad right now. All right. Downloads. Let's go. So we will have Eon's Grey Kifu. We will have Lily's Kifu. Anybody else? Anybody else? It's the time for you to send the Kifu. It's the time now. And we have one more from Ashmeet. Okay. I assume you're Erwin Smith, so we're gonna take it. Anybody else? First two games are 3 down versus 4 down. I wonder what else we may see today. Oh. Shogi Wars from CEO. Wait, there are two links? There are two different links. Not sure if you... This is your Twitter. All right, so let's take this link. So you are on the top. You're gonna put it like this. All right, let's start slowly. These are equal games, non-rated, equal. So we set up the room. Eon is got the... Oh, that reminds me. Wait, I have to do something before I do that. It reminded me. One of the links was sending link to your Twitter. We will have miles for, I don't know if you guys know, TT series gives a prize for the people who finish all the 9 rounds. Basically people who don't retire until the end of the tournament. And soon we're gonna transfer you 300 miles for the last season for everybody to finished. And I think if you go to TT Series Google Sheet, you're gonna find out that most of people will get it. I just asked people who just retired or didn't play all the rounds. You can see if your name is on the list. All right, and new season is starting soon. So if you guys didn't register yet, do it before end of January. And we will start with Eon. That's better. Do I get 600? Oh. That's a good point. I didn't consider that some people played 2 tournaments. I actually didn't consider that. I mean, I would guess 300 for now, but for the next season we would have to reconsider how do we count it, because we have to agree that TTJ is longer than TTK, for example. But TTK is also time consuming because it's 30 minutes, 30 seconds. But then we have TTQ. And because the number of rounds is not the same, I would have to think about it. I don't know, Lily. Today I would like Sensei to properly roast me about my poor endgame play, because this is about third or fourth Kifu in a row when I win the first engagement, but somehow completely checked out mentally doing endgame. I don't want to submit more Kifus like this. Well, I heard you're a chess player, so it would make sense to me, because you have good reading skill, but endgame is Shogi typically one, and it will take more experience for you to play properly, but probably you're exaggerating, and we're gonna see. But seeing that you lost this game, we can see that you lost this game, so maybe we're gonna find something for you to work on. Alright, let's go. So you're Gotte and you're playing static rook. And here you should decide what you wanna go for. Whenever it's this or this, you go for this. So usually those two pawn pushes don't go well together so early in the opening. But let's go with it. Like, it would be safer for the king not to be here, right? Okay. Alright. But yeah, we're gonna go for... Okay, that's some weird shenanigans coming up. So usually, Ian, when you play here, that means you go for this vanguard pawn. Sometimes edge attack, sometimes going to the center. Yes, this edge attack is possible sometimes. But because you push the middle pawn, I assume you want the central pawn. In this case, you prefer to have silver underneath it, I'd assume. Because the proverb is you have to support the vanguard pawn, yeah, as it's gonna be taken away. So here, actually, your opponent can immediately put pressure on it, because it has no support. Takes, and your point disappears. Yeah, so it seems like in chess like thinking, you would think, oh, I took this center, he can do anything. But actually, they're quite happy to exchange this pawn, you know? Their silver is now very active. You have a weak center. You plan to put 4 silver. Let's assume here then. You play here then? Then they could open the bishop line somewhere. Or simple castle, and then they take it. Or like even dislocate your silver at some point, like dislocate it completely. And then bishop, boom, and silver dies. It's your defensive silver, so you'd rather not. Okay, so you went with this silver. And now this is weakened, so he makes an exchange. And here he makes a scary exchange. That's a very weird move for him to do. I understand that if we take it with pawn, there's a silver drop, so that's what he's afraid of. But in that case, he shouldn't have exchanged the silvers. Maybe go for the diamond mino. Personally, I would probably take it and go here or something like that to disturb that silver. But then maybe you have a vanguard pawn, and I'm not happy that we have an exchange. Then we can attack, but they go here. Then I can punish you. It's confusing, but I think he made a mistake around here. So if he makes a mistake, it doesn't concern us because it's not your mistake. But yeah, this position, I don't like the position we ended up with here a little bit, but that's a good push. All right, so he's doing his best to stop you from Sabaki. We have the option of like trying to take here and then like going here type of thing. But also I'm a little bit concerned because your castle is kind of weak. I don't know if going this way is good or bad. So we got the knight, that's cool. This is a typical Tetsuji, you usually don't want to take that. If you take this, then your rook becomes unusable. Yeah, we talked about this last week, I believe. So you want to ignore it because it takes 1, 2 moves. So you want to do something in before they do that. Yeah. Something that would allow your rook to Sabaki. Chat, reading chat. Sorry, my internet keeps dying, but I will do my best to respond as quickly as possible. Could you not just take h6? Yes, Lily, that's another thing. You could do that, but then they could pressure your bishop, right? So now the question is this good enough for them? Probably not. After bishop 3, 1, 5, 6, I can respond to 0, 5, 4. Wait, when was it? 3, 1. Bishop 3, 1. Pawn 6, I can respond. Yeah, but that's what you did. I think the right timing to attack my vanguard pawn was to attack it immediately after he moved pawn for 6. No, I don't think. Silver drop was possible. All right, I see. So rook takes, Ian points out the silver drop. Yeah, that would be horrible. Yeah, so we were on this point, and I was talking about rook being here is not ideal. So here I would like to find another move to make. The problem is your bishop kind of weird spot now. So you have to find a way to activate it. This would be the most natural way because this opens the path. Now if they drop a pawn or something, it becomes weird. It becomes sketchy. I felt the same thing. I thought 8 minutes to avoid taking pawn, which is painful, yeah. Yeah, this is kind of... But on the other hand, we get a very active rook. Here's the problem again. Here, those kind of pawns is what we hate, basically, yeah? So the problem is now this pawn push will become sente if you were to take it with the bishop. Unless we go for something like this. Maybe they play this then. And then this becomes sente, which is kind of painful. If bishop takes, then gold drop to 6-3. I get... Yes. Alright. Gold drop 6-3. Here, but that leads to the same situation, no? The pawn was much lighter. I'm being spammed by private messages. All right. So yeah, I think it was a point somewhere here. The other option would be not to allow them to exchange the silvers and go slowly. Repair your bishop position. If they attack here, we're happy because then the bishop comes here, right? After the bishop trade, is pawn promotion really a threat? Or maybe can the rook just aim to sack for the gold and break the castle? It's also a good question. I think that's something we have to consider. Wait, is this the variation? No, it's this one. Lily is mentioning this. So yes, we could consider something like that. That's what I was then to consider here as well. Like, it's a good timing for us to counterattack. Our king is weak, but Shogi is about endgame, right? The question is, do we have a good move in this position? Like, for example, I don't know, harass this rook type of move. Yeah, Lily, yeah. After pawn drop, after bishop trade, seems like a strong counter. After bishop trade? But it's our move. Oh, you mean pawn drop here? And then just go here. But you're talking about this variation. The question is, what do we do? Anyway, they also can run. And then like slow us down for a moment, because even if you drop silver now, the rook is under attack. If you do this, it's the same situation? No, it's silver versus gold exchange, so it's the same. So here the question will be, what do we do here? It's like the question is, if we drop this, and if they take here, and if we take here, do they have a checkmate, for example? That would be one of the questions. And the answer will be most likely yes. Yeah. We have one less silver. Oh, because we took the gold for free versus we took the gold for silver. You're right, Lee. For gold. Yeah, you're right. So if that's not, then here we should play a different move, right? And this is where Lily's idea came in. Let's say they go here. And then the another question would be, if we suddenly take this, how scary is that, yeah? For example, we can drop the silver or something. The target is not to take the rook, is to take this guy. And then go for something decisive. I don't know if it's decisive enough. Probably it is. Yeah, in that case, we win by one move clearly, right? I mean, it's not so clear on our level, but like, we have the initiative in this second. So it should be good. Yeah. So in that case, it would be cool to have. Yeah, I don't think you have time to take the lance here. I don't think you have time to do so. So now we're gonna lose the rook, and then you're gonna be able to redrop the rook. I should make those room private. Some people came watching, now I'm stressed. So here they came here, and the bishop won't be exchanged, so it means we're stuck with the bishop in our own camp again, right? We do have material advantage, but material advantage is good until some point. And here basically we drop that lance into defense, which doesn't help us at all as an attacking piece. That's weird. Here if we just, I know it's scary, but if we just escape, I think it's better. I know it's scary. They're gonna promote the rook, and we kinda we don't have a follow-up, right? After this, but they cannot promote the rook. This is the most direct. If we take, and the bishop is kind of protecting here, right? Mifa also says escape seems better. My instinct, like you, is to give up the rook, but actually if I had more time to calculate the variations, I would have found the rook escape is working. All right, the rook escape. So are we talking about rook to here? Here would be natural, right? The problem is there's a bishop drop here. Uh, 3-1, 5-1 is better. I'm being bothered by people, so I'll leave and make a private room. Here, just take the gold instead of escaping, maybe. Yeah, that's also a point, but it's less good than the bishop exchange we compared, right? I think it's less good. Of course, yeah, if we... The problem is our king is also pretty weak, and if we give away a rook, suddenly we have to... Okay, so what's gonna happen is... I think you mentioned this move. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna drop a rook, and then we're gonna have to use a piece to defend, so our attacking power will be less. And I don't know what we do. Take a bishop or something? Maybe drop it here? Maybe that's similar. Maybe they keep it here. I have no idea. Somewhere far away from reach. And next they're gonna drop the rook. We still have a pawn. Then they're gonna promote and go here, right? And that would be quite hard to defend. So we would have to find an attack that's faster than that. Like a pawn drop or some sort of... If they take, then we have a silver drop. Now, if we don't, we have a gold drop, so maybe they have to take, and then we drop the gold, sacrifice it, then they drop the rook. Then we drop the pawn, and after they promote, we try to harass the rook or something. I don't know. It's quite complex. Silver drop, gold drop. So if we would find a way to like capture the king faster than he comes here, option B, dropping the gold, I think they would just harass our bishop. So I don't think that would be a great exchange. Silver drop 3-5. Yeah, that's also an option, I thought. Then they come and harass our bishop, but then we can exchange and drop a knight, right? So maybe we have to leave with this drop and just drop our rook. And they drop pawn, we promote, and if they take here, maybe just drop the knight immediately. You may need to move the king up. Like an escaping route, I see. So it defends your king and also makes knight drop possible. Yeah, but I don't want to escape with my rook, I think. Don't think I want to escape with it. But the knight drop is what's worries me. Yeah. So maybe it's a good fight. Maybe that's possibility. It's a very suddenly it becomes endgame, so it's a very rough one, but so yeah, here I would escape the gold as we talked. If we do that, they have a lance drop and we have to sacrifice pawn and a bishop. So now they have a pawn. Okay, but we have this drop, you're saying. So yeah, they're gonna cut your gold and then take this and then promote the rook. That's kind of awful, isn't it? They managed to sabaki that rook. That was your liability, your good point, and they have a full castle, and this time you don't have a bishop to counter. So yeah, having rook is cool, but and we give away a silver. Okay. There is a trick here, I'm afraid. There might be a trick here, I'm afraid. Rook is always useless. So the problem is there is a trick to break the shape here, if I'm counting correctly. Is it frozen? No. I hope not. It's green for me. Like the problem we have, I think, is something like this. If we run here, there's optional bishop drop or simply taking this pawn. Oh wait, bishop drop works simply like this, right? So better, of course, here. Let's say lance drop with means lance drop neither. Yeah, it's kind of rough, isn't it, already? And we would need to find a faster attack. So what? Gold drop, like going for endgame. We're in checkmate almost, if not already. Yeah, that bishop is bad, yeah. So here I think you are losing already. Now I see the game goes on. One tries to defend, you try to defend, and you have 2 pieces for 1 exchange. This is a very weird move. It's a very weird move. Very weird move. Yeah. So yeah, it went downhill from there. There are different ways to continue, but your disadvantage is too huge, I think. Sadly, I only have a game that I played against Mapo this week. No, I mean, it's okay, it's Mifa, it's okay. Oh, he beat you? Wow. The Kifu I shared is played on Friday. Oh, I will read that later. I'm really unhappy at myself for playing pawn 5-7. Also, it seemed that I knew about the pattern of attacking 5 with go to get the mina, but couldn't see any other ideas. Yeah. Your endgame attack was quite interesting with the tokens, but yeah, so that's the problem, you know? It's not the fact that you don't see any patterns, it's the fact that you're at disadvantage that makes it hard to continue. It's not that you don't have a waste. Like, the simplest pattern would be to drop the knight here, take one of the defenders, and do it again, and weaken his defense. Yeah, that would be like the easiest pattern. Usually you want to keep the rook for longer. That's my experience. But the problem is your silver is under attack, your castle is broken. So the fact that it feels hard to continue, it's not because there is some amazing move that you don't see. It's just the fact that he has advantage here. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's... Yeah. Like, usually the rook is the pivotal piece to attack, but in the middle game, it a little bit changes. Depends on the situation. So basically, starting from this move, he managed to weaken your defense. Then he took a rook, which is like a perfect piece for him to abuse you. And even though you took this lance, it was just dropped in the defense and then taken for free. So it's like you didn't gain a move on the attack. You took it for material. And yes, sure, maybe you have the material advantage, but here it's taken back, right? Here he takes a gold general for lance, basically. So you're worse off as a result. So taking the lance wasn't the best idea. Taking this pawn weakened your castle, basically. This one, weakened your castle. Gave him gold for a silver. That's kind of advantage as well, depending on the situation. And then you were stuck with this bishop, yeah? So you're saying the endgame was the problem, but I think the middle game was the problem. It's okay, see off. His strong resistance to the activation of my rook really caught me off guard. My opponent played well to give me trouble and eventually turn the tables. Yeah. Sure. We can take a look at it, Mifa, later. So yeah, to answer your main question, that's not the endgame. That was the... Thanks for 5 beats, Mifa. That's not the endgame. That's the middle game that made you disadvantage. 1, your king safety is weaker, than 2, he had more active pieces, like this piece versus this piece. Then he managed to promote the other rook. See? You're stuck with... You dropped your own bishop here, and you're stuck with that bishop, so it's kind of fun, isn't it? It's like the worst position for the bishop. You exchange this bishop for this bishop. It's not improvement. So you were stuck with those moves, and in the end game, you just gave away the silver. And here he had a way to finish up, but it took longer. Here you lose one piece for 2, and then you give up way few pieces. He managed to get a grasp on your king. Here, because you only have a lance in hand, it's quite clearly hopeless, right? Yeah, be careful about your bishops. But yeah, it's not the endgame. That's what I want you to notice. Yeah. This was a good engagement. You got a token, but you were at disadvantage of the bishop, yeah? His bishop is so much better than yours. So take that into consideration, yeah? Material is not everything. Piece activity is sometimes even more important than the material. Okay, let's go to the next one. We're gonna go to Lily's game. Lily playing against Fordan, that's cool. And she's Gote, all right? Yeah. I have to wake up tomorrow early for my 3rd German lesson. I'm quite excited about that. Learning new languages is quite fun to me. But I have to do my homework still. You can watch Lily play. All right, I'm gonna pretend that I'm Lily, yeah? Let's see. Learning Spanish, I see. So Lily's playing Aigakari. with this silver. Let's accept it as a being. And the opponent chased it away. All right. Okay, that's kind of weird game. Interesting. So I think your opponent is playing a duck castle. All right, that's kind of weird. Like this king in general would be weird already, but let's go with the flow. What would I do in this situation? Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that's quite cool idea. We want to break the position open somehow. That's one way to promote the bishop, right? They give us the knight. So we just got 1 silver exchange for 2 light pieces, which is beneficial to us because it's 2 for 1. You for silver, you say. So, okay. Good morning. Good afternoon. Okay. Interesting. So okay, what's going on here? What if they take it? You take it. You take here. You drop a silver, I assume. Is it good enough? Pawn 8-6 before taking. Pawn 8-6. Bishop takes. Or silver escapes. It's quite complex. Bishop takes, then 8-5 lance. Then we take it. Then you take it. Then they got a lance back. And the knight is in a weird spot. So it's not necessarily bad. The problem is the rook is quite active, right? Like next, this rook move is quite troublesome. Chat, what are you talking about? Interesting, okay. Okay, maybe this was better for them because now your rook is out of the play. They have the bishop drop here, which is quite troublesome. Yeah. Thank you for the following, Jack. Welcome. Side note, is the knight takes better than the gold takes? Because then we can use it to the attack. Just a side note, yeah. There's a penguin behind me. That's not a very good camera placement. I will have to fix that. Thank you for the following, Link. Pound drop, yeah, I mean, immediately. Thank you for the follow, Jim 1401. Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay. So my concern will be the bishop drop. Now your rook, yeah, it your rook is better in this position, I think. Bishop drop. I don't like the feeling of okay, the rook is dying. Yeah, I know, but your opponent is doing some weird stuff. His king is in the open. I mean, he's playing dark castle, so it's to be expected to be weird, but thank you for the following, cheap. I was being obnoxious. What chat? What's happening? Still about the other topic. All right. Anyway. So here you took with the knight, not with the gold. Not greedy. Mm-hmm. What if they... Oh, we have another bishop, actually. Never mind. What if they... No, they cannot do that. They kind of sealed off. They don't have a bishop. They lost a bishop. I think you're so much better off here. They have a silver for a bishop. Beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Beautiful ending. Love it. Love it. Love it. The bishop drop was quite interesting, I'd say. They don't have any piece in hand. Even if they would take the knight, they cannot protect. So if they had done the pawn, I would try to think about this one maybe. Like try to play another move than moving the silver. Then I guess if we go for the same thing, knight sacrifice, bishop drop, that's painful. So if we defend that drop, what's going to happen? You're scared of the queen? Well, yeah, Mifa, you will have to play against Lily next week on Saturday. Official queen versus king. Well, it's kind of duck. Kinda. Isn't... Nakazumai. Sure, Nakazumai. I can just trap the silvers with 8-5 pawn if I'm greedy. Yeah, be greedy. Why not? Free silver. Yeah, looks winning. He has nothing, basically. No pieces. So where did it go wrong for him? Was it impossible to take the lance here? How about this? Well, Mifa has a lot of practical experience. Bishop free. He's forced to trade because of the trade on 7-7. His rook is set. Bishop free. Then his rook is set. So you say we take it with the gold. So we have a pound promotion. Knight takes. Okay. So we still have a knight pound promotion. Yeah, of course he's not gonna take the pawn, but we have pound promotion. We can consider dropping the lance that we just got. How about something like this? I mean, the main threat that you would have that I see is maybe bishop drop here, but then... Yeah, now that we don't have a horse, it looks more severe. So maybe lance dropped in order to protect it. We're crazy, we could try to move the silver, but... If he drops the lance, can he defend after silver 7-5? Silver 7... Silver 7-5? No, 7-5 rook. 7-5 rook. Let's consider. Hey, how about crazy? No, that doesn't work. I wanted to suggest some crazy move, but... Yeah, that's convincing. I guess we have to consider silver drop, right? Everything else looked convincing. "18 years, wow." Well, if it goes back, then you're threatening pound drop, right? Alright. Then let's consider taking the knight. Pound drop still, we could just take it, so... We don't have a pawn, which is quite painful. If we take it with the rook, then we threaten the same thing. We have a knight in hand. Silver's drop, maybe that's good exchange. Taking the lance with gold. What if we take this pawn now? It's quite a sketch, but we need a pawn. Anyway, my point is maybe your opponent could have played it better off still. He played bishop 7. Maybe. Quite convincing. I think he could have played more. He took here, which killed his rook, right? So I think this ended up here. I think you played well from then on. Just that your opponent was quite satisfyingly, yeah. Alright, so where it went weird. He plays here, which you punished, which went here, which went here, which went here, and we went here, and we went here. Yeah, I think you just destroyed him, honestly speaking. Yeah, around here, like he ran out of ammo, basically. You're 2 done now, Lily, right? This was a 4 done. Time to get promoted, no? The profile picture is scary. Yeah, it kinda is. It kinda is. Hehehe, type of. You got promoted, cool. So Lily is now 3 down. 1 step closer to turning to king. Cool. I was talking with Telmor today that it would be good if the Japan opens the border and Lily could try her chances to fight for the Rico Cup place so that she can try a professional tournament, try to qualify for it. But we don't know, yeah? We don't know what's going to happen in a few months. Okay, next we have Erwin, right? Thanks, Lee. That was quite an interesting game you sent. Thanks for sharing, and once more, congratulations for the promotion. Erwin Smith. I missed the joke. I see. So now Mifas Shogi is an adult. Gotcha. I missed the joke. So now he should stop trolling, right? Now he's an adult, he should stop trolling. Alright, Erwin, here we go for Fire Rook. Waiting game. We somehow managed to get a silver crown, so that's cool. Now this isn't the best line to engage from, because they have a knight there. Subway Rook. Yeah, I mean, we could consider something like this. We could consider. She's going to beat her first pro and, says Time Zombie, Hidechi will make video. I guess now that the torch was passed, I will be the one making video. Just to keep the tradition, and in 20 years later, Lily is gonna make a video about another person. So usually the opponent having a knight like this isn't the most fun thing to have. We're going for the edge attack. That's usually not good to go like this. And yeah, so we have a very cool attack on the edge, but putting the rook first was important, I feel. Yeah, we should take this away. That's a weird move. Okay. Doing our best to activate the rook. Here I think we have to take it. The promotion would be too painful. If we take it, what do they treat then? Rook drop? We have to acknowledge that as a thing and allow them to take the silver. And then maybe we have time to counter. Yeah, that's sketchy. Maybe the knight is the only option. I don't know. Then they have a... Yeah, maybe that's better. Relay game? Hmm? Oh, yeah. With the Kifu, yeah. You don't think you have power to bring back Hidechi no matter how much I would like him for the comeback? Hidechi is not coming back, guys. He is working hard from the background. He's continuing to work on 81 Dojo. He's gonna help me distribute the miles for you guys for the Tourney 2 series. So he's there, but like not in front page. Yeah. Here we drop a piece, right? Not promote a piece. Or we take the knight? Okay. There's too much happening. Let's start from the beginning. That's bad. Let's check me. Yeah. Alright. I don't know. Erwin, are you here? Erwin? I didn't see any comment from you in a long time. So basically, I think this is a slight advantage for your opponent to have the knight here. And then they could have taken your lance by sacrificing 2 pawns here and taking it with silver. They can take the lance for free, basically. They decided to go here, but sure. If you have any questions, you can post it. The same here, right? They could just take it. But yeah, sure, take it. And taking it again wouldn't be awkward. I would take it again, force the silver out of the position. Something like that, maybe. Now this lance is a big mystery to me. So yeah, I think the better bishop drop for your opponent would be to here, so that he threatens the promotion of the knight, actually. So that would be better. What did he play? This. Okay. So if we threaten this and this, we don't have to care about pawn pushes. So this would be quite bad for you. What's the name of the opening? 4-5 rook. 4-5 rook, and this castle is Silver Crown. So because it's a castle that takes time, it's a slow variation of 4-5 rook. Slow, I think that's the translation, as opposed to quick, as opposed to rapid, I guess. Yeah. The opponent is playing some more recent type of castle. Not sure what's the name of that. It's a twin gold kinda on the left side. So yeah, Erwin, I think your first mistake was to engage here, and then you lost a lance, and then you're basically losing a silver. So mid game speaking, you're also kind of losing. The enemy has a huge horse here. Took another knight for free. And then decided to attack very severely. Personally, I would consider throwing away this horse and jumping with the knight, but to make it even more severe, try to consider that. So break the castle foremost. Here we can also take this, yeah. But maybe we wanna keep the horse. The time when I opened the bishop diagonal. What was the better move? So we pointed out that maybe pushing, if you wanna go for the edge attack, maybe pushing the lance beforehand was better. In general, because you're playing 4-5 rook, your style of playing is to wait rather than to engage. So you want to be prepared to what your opponent is going to play next. Consider moving this over here or pushing this pawn here to delete the knight drops in the future. To consider the fact they will engage from here, so maybe we could force the bishop away from this diagonal. Stuff like this I would like to consider. Maybe pawn push after all. I mean, after the lance. Lance seems like the idea are coming forth, so... Yeah, so if they were to attack from this side, you will have a nice pawn push next, so it's quite inconvenient for them to attack from this side. Basically, you have a better castle, so like waiting, playing moves like this would be better for you, I think. Deleting your weakness, maybe against a knight drop, stuff like that. It's like a 4-5 rook type of play. I'm afraid that bishop targeting the edge. Bishop targeting the edge. You mean this one? If they have a pawn in hand, they can drop a pawn here, and that would be painful, yes. But the point is, they do not have a pawn in hand yet. So it's fine. The question is, where can they get a pawn in hand without getting too much of a disadvantage? I don't think there is such a square, easily speaking, but maybe if we were to do this, maybe they will be greedy enough to exchange this. But then we have a perfect spot for our rook. So it's not so easy, yeah? It's not so easy. Yes, we will have to be careful of this in the future. Yeah. The edge is not a trouble. If you were afraid of the edge, you shouldn't have moved the knight, basically, because the knight helps with the defending of the edge. Kinda. That would be the logic. Yeah, so here I would go more aggressive. Yeah, whatever. Taking or not taking? So surviving, I guess. Sure. Okay, so this would be the critical moment whenever we have checkmate or not. So together with the chat, we're gonna figure it out. After the lion's move, the king went to here. Is it a checkmate, chat? Let's figure it out. Gold drop. I was thinking silver, but gold drop. Silver is better, no? 6-3. Gold drop means you attack. But the gold drop means you attack the knight, so he has to take here. That also works. Lance drop. Bishop drop. Is this a checkmate or not? We don't have a gold, so if we had a gold, it's just take, drop, gold, drop, yeah? We don't have a gold, so that's the problem. If we start with silver, or a bishop, like somewhere here, if they take, drop something, we just take. Yeah, that would be checkmate. They go here. That's also checkmate. So I can go here. But just sacrifice the silver. I think it's a checkmate, right? Take, lance drop. Continue, like promote the bishop is possible. That looks like checkmate, right, Schmidt? So that was your chance here. The opponent should have run away to this side. I think that would be more difficult to... Maybe a pawn drop, maybe run away. If the gold drop, maybe run away type of situation. And king being here seems kind of safer than being over there. Yeah. So endgame, you had a chance. So I think your knight drop was quite interesting. I like your feeling, like going for the weakening of the enemy shape. I really like your engagement here. The problem was, you see, your edge is weak now, so it wasn't good enough to like survive long enough. So you do have a sharp later middle game, but the problem was, you know, that you started this game with disadvantage. So I want you to reconsider the engagement that you did here. I want you to notice that you do have a weakness here, but I want you to notice that it's not a problem yet. Bishop being one piece, you have two pieces defending. You can make this move to add another piece to maybe find some counterplay in the future here. And maybe find some pro games with similar positions, study it. I would recommend. If you play this position often, it's worth doing so. And yeah, do not allow your enemy jump the knight like this. But from this moment, I really liked your counterplay. Really good one. And of course, missed opportunity, yeah? Let's remember to like double check it later if it's really true. Maybe I'm lying. Is it okay, Schmith, for analysis? If you have any questions, now is the time. Cool, thanks for sending. All right, next we're gonna go with Steve. It's a Shogi Wars game. I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit. No, it doesn't change the size of the board, sadly. So we're gonna have to go with this. So Steve is a 5Q and it's 10 minutes Shogi. And we studied this position a little bit on our book reading stream. The Kifo I shared is played on Friday. Before this game I have lost lots of game with Mifa and learned a lot of concept from him, as well as learned some modern shogi theories. From my stream, Mifa taught me the importance of supporting Vanguard Pawn, connecting my opening, mid-game and endgame. Be careful of the position for both players' knight, kings, and so on. Thousands of words having been elaborated. I'm quite happy that I have learned how to apply new knowledge in this freestyle game after losing so many games against strong players in Shogi Harbour. But I still think there's some flaws, improvement space for my freestyle game. Alright, let's take a look then. So this is your idea here, that's a freestyle, I guess. you're going for. So the enemy is coming here for an attack. We will have to answer it somehow. I don't understand what's going on here. Why is... Alright, so the first thing I see in this position in particular is that if you exchange your rook pawn here, and you will have an option to drop it on 8-8 next. So I would hurry up. The moment you see this bishop like leaving this file, I would hurry up with exchanging this pawn. So that's like the mistake that beginners do. They put silver here instead of gold, and the main weakness it has, bishop leaves, boom, there is a weakness here for bishop drop or a pawn drop, yeah? So I would try to abuse that fact here. Here it's a little bit too late because the knight can jump. Yeah, the rook is protecting the back line. Yeah. Okay, but our king is still in the... Here, because his rook is not here, this attack is less scary. I would take the pawn, silver retakes, and then immediately redrop it on 3-6 to target the knight. And it's such a cool and such a strong move. He cannot escape the knight. We will take it. He will have to take it with gold or the king. And we will have immediately another knight drop here to fork those two pieces with the bishop. And it's good because bishop escape, he attacks the silver, cannot take it because the bishop is protecting it, cannot attack the knight because the silver is on the way. So it's a pretty cool move I would consider over there. The minuses will be without pawn, but if it happens that he takes it with the bishop again, we have another gold drop, forking the silver and the bishop. So it's like his king suddenly becomes so much weaker. Yeah. So if you see your enemy jump the knight early, think how to expose its head. The head of the bishop. Now this kind of weakens your position. But it's necessary. It's necessary maybe because the rook comes in. You felt better having it here. Alright. Yeah, that's cool. We got a knight for free. Putting the king closer to the rook, I guess usually we would say that's not good. There is a bishop check somewhere here. We have to be aware of that too. Let's see. Yeah, the bishop came. Oh, in this kind of situation, bishop sacrifice might happen. And you would have to take it with the king, and your king would be in a weird spot. If your opponent had any better type of attack on the left side, you might be in trouble. So be careful about those moves, yeah? Be careful of bishop sacrifice. Yeah, like this, yeah? Now he gonna create attack there, but you're safe enough. And beautiful counter. His king is on the way of the rook. You have a... that's a good way also. So usually people would take it immediately. But what you want to do, similar to chess, is keep the pressure. So dropping the pawn allows you to make attacking is good. In this case, I think you could take and fork the king and the gold. Now the only thing you have to be careful is that you give away a bishop for that. So be careful about the counters. I know, Lily, I know. Here he could have taken with the gold, actually. Yeah. Oh, finally, cool, got it. Yeah. So here you missed the chance for the rook fork, right? But yeah, you'd have to take it. Pawn drop, cool. Rook drop here. Ooh, I like it. There is a rook drop here on 5-8, forking those two pieces together, or 6-8, forking those two pieces. But you're going for checkmate threat, which is endgame type of thinking. It's beautiful. And it's a checkmate. Beautiful, Siof. Your endgame got better. Your endgame, beautiful. This move is the proof of that. The whole sequence with pawn drop here and the rook drop, that's beautiful. You guys are getting so much better. So much better at the endgame. Like the whole community. Maybe it's the Lily's influence with that Sume Shogi. Maybe everybody solved it and Sagedani got stronger. Yeah, so Lily pointed out that your king is a little bit too close to the rook. So you might reconsider that. But yeah, it's your opponent who's overcharging here. Yeah, I would move the king, maybe. Move the king, then push the pawn. Because then he won't be able to sacrifice it, yeah? And you keep the pressure in the center. That's kind of scary, depending on the situation. If you counted that you're safe, it's fine. If you wanted to... If you calculated that if he gives the bishop, you have a drop, then it's great. Then it's like perfect. You just destroyed him. Yeah. I'm more confused about what's the opponent doing, really, especially in the endgame. Sio had 13 seconds left. That's kind of scary, though. If you're playing 10 seconds shogi, you might wanna consider playing quicker, but... I mean, if you're sure you're gonna win, you can think and play the correct move. Especially in the endgame where there are two threat mates and he randomly drops silver. So he spent... Yeah, 9 seconds on this move. So maybe just this casual player that doesn't think much and just plays quick shogi, you know? Going for time win. This is why I don't recommend shogi wars. Because you just stop thinking. You just do quick moves and hoping to win on time. Because how many times we are punished that we played good shogi, winning shogi, and then we lost on time, yeah? So this platform doesn't reward good habits. It rewards bad habits. So I don't recommend it. Yeah, Sio, nice. So what's your current rating on 81 Dojo? Did you register for the TTS? Oh, Time Zombie will be streaming today. Theo says that I haven't finished reading rules. Yeah, you should register. You should. Everybody who joined the last season is gonna agree that it helps to improve your shogi enormously. And I think you're ready. Seeing this game, I think you're ready. Just hit the Kishin 100 times, yeah. Short teaching game. Okay, let me finish the Mifa's game, and then we can play. It's 4-piece, and... You did. Thanks, Mifa, thanks. The TTK this season will have a different format. They're not gonna be a king on the throne. Everyone is gonna start from the bottom of the bracket. This way everyone is gonna have more games to play. Free gift? Well, you could play. We could play. So I saw this game live, and we saw Mifa's opponent creating this Ishida style. But if you're a beginner, make sure that you don't only like remember a shape, but you know when to apply it. Here, what Mifa had played in the first moves was to move the silver here and then secure this point here. So it is a risk that somewhere in the future he will put a pressure on this rook. And if the rook has nowhere to go, then this pressure will be big on the rook, yeah? So this rook is a little bit too close to the enemy pieces like this. Ah, thank you, Sio. Maybe we can play next time. Or you can send another game on Discord as an analysis, free analysis if you want. I think it really might be meaning that if you are giving it as a free gift, yeah, if you're giving it as a gift, you could say a name for someone and that person can play the teaching game instead of you. So yeah, as I said, yeah, Mifa took this vanguard pawn. It's down. I mean, it's still up, but the fact that he managed to exchange this one is cool. And he can now develop the knight. The opponent is gonna to make a token that's unstoppable, but as a result, he won't have a pawn in hand. Having a pawn in hand is important, and it's not, again, guys, it's not about having material advantage. Yeah, we have a free gold here. Yeah, cool. But what about those pieces? Yeah, what about those pieces stuck on this side of the board? How the token is going to help those pieces? You have to think about this. Yeah. So in this case, I think there is an option of sacrificing immediately. If we take the rook and sabaki, in that case, great, right? We're forcing the enemy to redrop the pawns, activate our rook, trade in the lance promotion. Pawn 2-5. Ah, that's not possible. How about this one then, Mifa? Then you escape up, perhaps? You might hear me say my game plan. What's your game plan? So yeah, this is like, let's assume this position. The token doesn't have the rook, yeah? That's the problem. So that pawn that we got, yeah, now let's consider this position. Those pieces do not cooperate well. Do not cooperate. It's like this token doesn't exist, in fact. And then pushing the pawn in front of the king, that's usually not good. Now there's a space for a knight drop. The bishop on the h2, but the knight, the rook, and the bishop, and the silver, nothing is active here. Looks like the shape is beautiful, but it's nearly useless, yeah? So this is why when you guys learn castle like Yagura, make sure you start understanding why, when, how to use it. Because if you just build a shape, it's gonna crumble. It's like you buy this expensive sword and you have no idea how to use it and you stab yourself type of situation. Make sure you know how to use your pieces and then learn how to apply them in different situations. So this is why Tsume Shogi is so cool, because you learn the tactics and then you start seeing it in actual games. This is why Tsume Shogi problems in the book that you solve gives you like good tesuji that you can use, gives you that ammo, that weapon, that knowledge. Shape itself, yeah, anybody can remember a shape. You don't have to force someone. Nominate yourself. Me for yellow can play. All right. Well, we're gonna see. Because who else? Maybe some lurker, like someone from the chat. I often play against you guys. Maybe someone from the chat who never or doesn't have enough points. Let me be your nightmare. Oh my god. So yeah, Mifa tries to punish that. Another token. Yeah, that's another token. 2 tokens, beautiful, but yeah. I think Mifa mentioned that if the king runs there, he would be very safe, so he needs to be careful to not let the king run away there. But apart from that... And boom. Yeah. Seems like there is no use for them. Wait, this knight. Aha, beautiful. Escape artist at work. So finally, black starts to engage the king somehow, but he lost the bishop and the rook is inactive. So we might say his advantage, this was the resign position, which is kind of quick, but considering that he's going to have the rook pressured, is this too quick? Like, we could hope for activating this rook. But then maybe the king can enter and it's over. Too quick in your opinion? Mifa also agrees it's too quick. But yeah, again, yeah, peace activity, guys. We should one day, maybe next week on Saturday, we will be, okay, there's Mifa and Lily game. But apart from that, maybe we should watch some professional game one day, and you're gonna see how do they use their pieces, how beautifully they have no asobi goma, yeah? Maybe watching those games will be beneficial to us and you guys. Us, meaning I also will benefit from watching some pro games. Yeah, impossible to draw. So the problem with handicap games and draws is that if both kings enter the enemy camp, there is a special rule that the pieces that were handicapped are counted, actually. So even if they both had a bishop and a rook, actually Mifa has his own rook and a bishop. Nishiyama's game? Yeah, maybe. I mean, did she play recent? Let's check that. Wait, we have a Dio in our server? Oh my god, we have a Dio. Why do we have a Dio? Giorgio references. Okay, let me quickly check. I really recommend Nagase Fuji game from yesterday. Nagase Fuji. We have an Nishiyama, I don't... Satomi. Mifa, how about you bring some Kifu of Nishiyama that you like, and we're gonna take a look at that. Orewa Dio da! Oh no. Impasse draw is impossible. What? Impasse draw? It's impossible? Yeah, I guess you have to declare the win. Wait, if it's impossible, how do you finish the game? Someone has to resign? Sure. Yeah, I don't know if we do it today or next week. Because you guys wanted teaching games, right? Yeah, that Fuji Nagase is also pretty good because it shows that principles we talked about. And watching pro games, it's always so beautiful because they always choose the best route, the best move, and it's like magic. It's like magic. So let's do the Nishiyama one tomorrow. And guys, which one do you prefer? Take a quick look at Fuji's game or play a teaching game? I'm gonna make a poll and take a 5-second break. What do we do? Kifu of Fuji or teaching game? Give you like 2 minutes and be right back. And we're back. How's the voting going? 5 to 4. Even if I would like to see someone in chat play, I think for this game would be nice to see. Teaching game with Fuji is not possible, but the winner of the International Shogi Festival actually played against Fuji. It was epic event. If you guys didn't see the game, you should see it. It's somewhere on YouTube, on Japan Shogi Association YouTube. All right, I guess most of you decided on that. So it's even. Okay. So we gonna do it like this or not? Okay. Nagase Fuji. Gonna be private. Gotcha. Don't wanna spoil too much, but this game struck me as a fantastic twist on modern shogi. All right. Well, in that case, I would vote on the Kifu, probably. So this, as you know, guys, is the Bishop Exchange opening. Right? But they didn't exchange bishops. Never mind. Okay, so usually, you know, it can go either way, like Yoko Fudori, Kari, whatever. But if they push this pawn first, then it's unlikely that it's gonna be Yoko Fudori. If they open the bishop diagonal, it would be, but here Senta is forced to defend, and then it's more likely it's a bishop exchange, but he decided not to exchange it. That was interesting. And then both sides develop naturally. And the king goes far away from the rook, right? As we've established. So you can see that they only push the center pawn after certain things has been decided. And the silver is here ready to protect that square, yeah? I've seen you guys push this pawn too early. Lots of times, but... Knight development, the edge question, and developing the silver. So here, if you guys watch our Thursday streams, it will make more sense, but Fuji decides to attack without castling the king. Not Fuji, this is Nagasa actually. Decides to attack without castling the king. It's right? I think, unless this app is... For some reason it says something else. I'm confused. Let me double check. Yeah, Senta is Nagase. All right. Yeah, so it's the prompt efficiency theory we talked about. Of course, if we take this line is open, so because the bishop would escape, it's good to sacrifice this first usually. All right. For context, by the way, Asahi Cup time control is 1 hour, 1 minute BOE. In this game, the player entered it around move 60. So every move after that. So this is move 28, so we're still far away from that. And interestingly, Nagase redropped the bishop. I would like to say something smart, but I have no idea how to sound smart in this moment. Basically, I want you guys to notice how Fuji took his time to like exchange the rook pawn. how Nagase values this diagonal, how both of the kings are nearly in the center, which is kind of telling about the modern shogi, how this knight and this silver are important in the attack. And now the question will be, how will Fuji defend? Yeah. Put more pressure. And because kind of good pressure, we try to lower our enemy's attack. Whoops. Yeah, that sounds very good. Yeah. I think you're right, yellow. Not taking, yeah? And again, remember Seof? Seof is not here, but remember when we talked about Seo? Yeah, knight. The weakness is the head of the bishop. And here the next move was quite surprising. Take this with the rook. And use that tempo to continue attacking. The knight will die. And really, they played this move in this position. All right, so yeah, if we would go here, we would take 2 silvers for free. But there is this fork with the rook drop, so I assume they want to escape that. And Seo is here, cool. Early escape, yeah? Predict what your opponent is doing. And yeah, we could take this pawn, but we don't want to. We don't want to. This would slow down our attack, yeah? Make this piece a playing piece for a second. So you don't want to do that. You don't want pieces to be doing nothing. It's better to sacrifice this knight rather than give away this good silver position. So here's, again, there is some Tesuji going on, trying to weaken the king position and then promoting the pawn. Finally, take. And I talked about this fork, yeah, the rook fork. So actually, we can force the same thing by sacrificing the token. So it's a little bit better because the rook promoting here was a check, rook promoting here won't be a check, and we sacrificed a token in order to do so. The interesting twist for me is that Nagase is committing to the hardness of his castle with the amazing gold move that goes against modern shogi. No, it's not about the hardness of the castle, it's about avoiding this fork, I think, yellow. But again, the shape looks beautiful, yeah? Yeah. So both sides promoted the big pieces, and here Nagase is dropping a piece because he feels unsafe. This rook is so much closer to this king than this horse. And this is another good shape, pinning the silver to the king, so he's forced to defend more. Trying to get some more attack by perhaps doing stuff like this. If the dragon were to go here, there's a bishop drop. So it's also quite weird. So here, but then there is a nice counter here. Taking the lance. Now that bishop is dropped, we have no fork here. My headphones are dead. Stop doing that. The gold is protected. So again, yeah, we don't care. It's kind of weird watching pro games. It's like some of the pieces become frozen. They don't move at all. That's because moving them would waste tempo. And here, similarly, we want to force the enemy pieces to move, yeah? We want to have pieces there instead of caring about this bishop or this horse. We want to get to the king, yeah? So both sides are tasting each other patience, kind of. Until finally, this is a very scary move, so finally he has to move, yeah? Up to the limit. Now that he dropped the pawn, lance drop is quite painful, but here, checkmate threat, yeah? Gold drop is a checkmate. So we have to make an escape route, and therefore we're able to drop the pawn. But you can also notice that this blocks the rook influence. So 1, 2 moves, 3 moves would be necessary. Well, 2 moves, I guess. 2 moves would be necessary to like threaten this king. So he kind of gained tempo for that. No, he actually takes it. So he gets even more tempo. Now Fuji doesn't have a pawn in hand. That's a very painful situation to be in. problem is we also have only pawns, but there is a piece that we can take thanks to the land sacrifice. It's the gold, yeah? The horse that was far away slowly gets closer to the king, so the king escapes. King escapes, the horse follows. The look is overloaded, yeah. King escapes, again. And the horse makes this very painful check, which pins the king to the rook. Even though Fuji has pieces in hand, he's forced to drop it in the defense. And this silver is too good to be true, so finally Nagase has to give up his attack for a little bit and drop the pawn. But Fuji has a lot of pieces. He continues dropping the knight. Gold escapes. And now... now it's difficult. Like, this silver is hanging clearly. So I don't quite understand this move. I see. If we do this, when it's taken, we can take it. So that's the idea. So we, again, yeah, activate our dragon. Activate it. Yeah, don't keep it in the corner. The pawn is a very hard to break defense, especially with the bishop here. Activate the dragon different route. Yeah. Comes here, again, activation by heavy defense. But the knight promotion is quite painful. And yeah, there's not much we can do. This is an interesting position, though. Like, the gold seems to be for free, but that's not the move they played, not to take the gold. So taking the gold wouldn't be... I think they prefer to... Taking this wouldn't help our horse. But this has more tempo because we can promote next. So it's like we gain a tempo, I think, by taking this, because we promote the bishop on the next turn instead of 2 turns. Yeah. Yeah, of course they can. Yeah, Fuji can read like 31 moves Tsume in matter of seconds, so he's a living computer, basically. And again, Shogi is about patterns, yeah? So having this pinned here, that's a huge pattern to have. So big, then the dragon has to be sacrificed. Knight drop to attack the horse. Force it to retreat. We cannot punch yet. We cannot punch. So we use the horse. Again, very active square, helping the defense, right? Again, we don't take the gold. We try to activate our rook. And again, if we do this, take this, the rook gets activated, so we don't help the rook get activated. This is a Tesuji here. If we take it, there is a silver drop. So we don't take it. Now the meaning of this move is quite interesting. This move is very powerful here. Do you guys know why? Why this move is so powerful? It's a very simple thing. Fuji doesn't have a pawn. He dropped it here. Pawn drop here would be a powerful counter, but he doesn't have a pawn. Yeah? He drops the lance. But again, this becomes dangerous. All the pieces are concentrated in one file. So the easiest way to defend this is to run away from there, yeah? If the attack is from one direction, it's easier to defend. Here we go strongly, because the king is pretty safe. And strongly. The rook is to be taken, yes, but we don't mind. This silver, again, becomes not a very helpful piece, and we're gonna get the king. So we wanna get the king. Here is the resignation, yeah? What's going to happen is probably the king will escape. We're gonna take the silver. This horse again attacks nice squares and threatens checkmate while also attacking the rook. The king doesn't have an escape route. So I want you to guys notice, yeah? Tell me, like, look at it and see at any point in the game, the big piece, where are they? What are they doing, yeah? Like, forgetting about the weird modern game, the fact that they don't have a castle. They just concentrate on the piece activity. Rook, bishop, joins the attack. Yeah? Remember the game of the talking that we saw today. They weren't cooperating. Here they are. One amazing thing about this game is that I feel like Nagasa was able to win comfortably in the endgame because his king is safe, and yet the opening is 100% Wonder Shogi, where the king sings like it is always on chase. I don't know if there could be a reminder that classical principles of king safety are always relevant, even the highest level of Shogi. They don't break the rules, they just make new ones, yeah. They base it on the knowledge that they have, and the current knowledge is this style of playing Shogi, going for quick attack, keeping king white, and the fact that king was white at the end, as we learned on our last book reading stream, was that determined this game. So look where the pieces are, yeah? Silver on the 5th row. The most active place for the silver. Bishop, so active. Yes, we're gonna lose the gold, but we got a silver before. Bishop drop, forking the dragon while defending while attacking. Like, if you look at any position of the game, there isn't any piece that's useless. None. Those were important to chase away the dragon. This gold, you could say that it's kinda useless, and maybe why this is why Fuji is a little bit worse off here. But he has many pieces in hand in exchange. He's attacking strongly, yeah? Again, not forgetting about this bishop, using it to attack. Yeah? Trying to defend. All of the pieces are active. So the biggest question in this game was how Sente will utilize this bishop and how Gote will utilize this rook. And because of this pin, Sente was better off. This was beautiful, yeah? Activating the dragon. It was so beautiful. So again, I would say that this rook was a little bit off compared to those two horses. Those two horses were so much more powerful. And the Fugira, yeah? No pawn in hand, so painful. What we learned? Attack. This is the wideness I was talking about. Attack from this side, go just move one square. How much safer we are, right? How beautiful that is. Modern Shogi. Just one square to the right. We don't have a heavy castle that pieces will promote and the opponent will promote its pieces and eat up our castle. No, it's just here, helping the king retreat. Yeah, beautiful pawn drop, yeah. And then going for the punch, going for the end game, yeah? All his king intact, safe. Bishop Horse Fan Club approves the game. Yeah! Yeah, this is also indirectly defended by the horse, yeah. Of course, you know, it looks like Fuji couldn't do anything, but one mistake from Nagase and it would be one tempo lost and it would be totally opposite. Yeah? He played really beautifully here, I think. It was scary, it was. But again, keeping the escape route was important. Those are beautiful moves, yellow. Anybody, no matter the strength, you guys, you have to learn the amazingness of this move and this move. You do have to understand how beautiful that is. If it's not here, this gets here, and it's a checkmate threat, right? Boom, everything stops. So beautiful. Such a light move, yeah? Boom, such a light move. The rook cannot do anything. The real escape artist, yes. Rook, so useless, yeah? Seems like there's many pieces, but so useless. Such a good job. So, take this game into consideration, guys. You can like rewatch this VOD. We have YouTube too. I'm gonna re-upload it. You can rewatch this game there. You can also buy the Shogi Live application to watch it there. This is Shogi Live. This is the application. If you like to watch pro games like this, you can buy a subscription and watch it. Watching games like this and thinking, comparing how the pieces are active, stuff like this, compared to our pieces, for example, checking the openings. The pro player nowadays, it's the easiest way to improve, so try it out. And yeah, the next step is to send your Kifu next week. Yeah. On next Sunday, we also gonna analyze your Kifu. On Saturday, remember, we have tourney to Queen winner versus tourney to King winner, final battle. Next week, actually, is it next week? Was it next week or was it MIFA? Which one was it? 22nd or 29th? Which one did you agree, actually? On the 30th, we will have handicap games. And another handicap games will be on February 13th. With some cool addition. But more about it on Discord. I'm gonna keep reminding you guys the closest we are. Mifa says 22nd is fine. Lily, do you think 22nd is fine? Lily is suggesting that we look at recent pro games at the end or beginning of Shogi Sunday. Yeah, that could be a good habit that we have. 22nd. Alright, so the TTQ versus TTK will be on the 22nd. Let me put it in my calendar so that I don't forget. Yep, it's there. And about the schedule, just quick reminder, we do not have the stream on Tuesday because Paul is busy, so we moved it on Friday. If I don't die because I have a vaccination on Thursday. We do have a book reading stream on Thursday. And then we have Mifa versus Lily Saturday and Sunday stream normally. And then as we get closer to February, we have all those cool events with Pro, Plant, Ladies Pro, and Tobe Sensei. If you guys want to be notified about it, of course, join our Discord. I think it should be 30-60, so it's non-rated, the longest possible. Oh, it would be cool if you could make the tournament page for that. Thank you, Elo. And because I don't think we have more Kifu, and if you guys have any questions, now is the time. Next week we could look at the second game of Osho match. Yeah, we could. Or we could get that Nishiyama game that Mifa was talking about. We could do it also on Saturday, to be honest. After the game. Yeah, if you have any proposition, guys, just bring it on Sunday and we're gonna watch it. I think that Kifu will be available live. So you guys can send me the link and can watch it and analyze it together. How about that? Okay, and yeah, good luck Mifa and Lily for the next week. Make sure you rest and do not overdo. Prepare mentally, warm up, and then fight the best game you can for the Saturday game, yeah? And turning to series, starting too soon. Friendly reminder, yeah. You should register as soon as possible. Thank you. Mifa for the 1 bit. Okay. So guys, have a nice weekend. And I will see you on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Reading book stream. Take care. Bye. And thank you, James, for 100 bits.